Is it just me, or is every major sports league in the world under some kind of revolution right now? The NFL with its new kickoff rules and its constant battle with the concussion protocols, the NBA's play-in tournament, and now its in-season tournament.
Something is happening. You know something is going on. I don't think nobody really knows what's going on.
Not to mention college football threatening to blow itself up every other day. It's all getting a little exhausting. But at least we can rely on America's pastime to give us some much-needed stability in this time of radical change. Wait, what's up? MLB pitchers are dropping like flies? Well, son of a... To start the season, MLB pitchers have been sustaining injuries at a pretty alarming rate. The question is why? Well, the answer is really not an easy one. In reality, it's part of a much older battle that the MLB has been waging in an effort to stay exciting and relevant in this ever-competitive world, vying for the attention of the average fan. And in that effort to make baseball exciting again, they've had to find a difficult balance between the two major forces of the sport: pitching and hitting. And back in 2021, the MLB put a crackdown on pitchers. The reason: batting averages were at an all-time low and strikeouts were at an all-time high. Combine all that with extreme defensive shifts, the balance of forces were all out of whack, and the game was becoming boring. I think everyone can appreciate great pitching, but it got to the point where league officials decided that something had to change. And they found the main culprit to be sticky stuff. Pitchers were gaining an unfair advantage with things like rosin bags, sunscreen, or something called spider tack. It allowed them to get a better grip on the ball and some crazy spin rates. The pitchers were dominating the league and the hitters really didn't stand a chance. So the league instituted the crackdown on foreign substances for pitchers. They did so by having these frequent random checks throughout the game. And it worked for the most part. Spin rates went down, batting averages went up, and order to this fragile ecosystem that is baseball was restored. Well, not so fast.
I have used sticky stuff before. You have to use something. Your favorite pitcher probably 50 years ago was using something too.
Many pitchers use something to get a better grip. Still don't understand that rule as to why that's a bad thing for a pitcher to have a better grip.
That's all part of the adjustment you have to make.
100% believe that contributed to me getting hurt. I threw to the Nationals with nothing.
You have to balance it, and you have to keep it clean.
I don't use spider tack. I don't need more spin. I have huge hands. I spin the ball fine. I want grip. I did well against the Nationals. I woke up the next day and was like, I am sore in places that I didn't even know I had muscles in. And then that same feeling is persisting all week long. And then I go into my start yesterday and that same feeling just, it pops or whatever the hell happened to my elbow. Like I feel it. Something happened.
The battle between pitcher and hitter complexifies. Definitely not a word, but I'm gonna use it. So according to Tyler Glasnow, better grip on the ball meant safer working conditions for pitchers. So let's break that down. Pitchers were taught for the longest time to throw the ball as if you were throwing an egg. You wanted to hold the ball light and at the tip of your fingertips. And the sticky stuff was helping with that. But since the crackdown, MLB pitchers had to raw dog it from then on. So naturally, they adopted another strategy: the death grip. Grip the ball as hard as you can to get that extra velocity and extra spin rate. This in theory would lead to more strain on the muscles in the forearm and, according to Glasnow, lead to more injuries. I'm no doctor, but I mean, it sounds plausible. But aside from the grip, what other adjustments have the pitchers made, you might ask? They're also just throwing the ball harder. Average velocity is at the highest point it's ever been in the history of the sport at about 94 miles per hour per pitch. And that's an increase of about 4 miles per hour over the past 20 years. And every year, pitchers are looking to push the limits on what's humanly possible when it comes to velocity and spin rate. And while it's been insanely fun to watch what these guys are capable of nowadays, the league might be reaching a breaking point.
The training for hard throwing and max effort and spin is definitely taken over. It's not a good product long term. We all know that. But there's so many arms and factories that are being developed that I think analytically and financially, they feel like this is pieces to the puzzle they can keep placing and replacing players. There's more young players that in our game today that could impact in a way that never before, but they won't be given the chance to play 10 to 15 years.
I mean, naturally, in a world that is so hyper-competitive as professional sports, players have to do everything in their power to perform at the highest conceivable level. And that means starting out at a younger age in these travel baseball leagues, or sometimes multiple at a time, high-intensity, max-effort training year-round. I mean, their livelihoods depend on it. And the pitchers that are getting these massive contracts are the ones with the highest velocity and craziest spin rate. But is the cost worth it? From 2010 to 2021, the amount of pitchers that were placed on the injured reserve list in a single season raised from 241 to 552. Some of the league's biggest names are going down left and right. Guys like Shane Bieber, Spencer Strider, Jacob deGrom, just to name a few. And what's even more alarming is, according to Dr. Keith Meister, Tommy John surgery, one of the most common procedures for an injured pitcher. Typically, you would get the surgery done and you should be good for the rest of your career. Then it went to you should be able to get 10 years out of it, then 7 to 8 years. And now it's not uncommon for the procedure to only last 3 to 4 years depending on the pitcher. Kids are needing this surgery younger and younger in college and high school. Bottom line is, with all this technology, optimization, and data, the human anatomy just can't keep up. And the answer to all of this is really not an easy one, or a single one for that matter. The league has come out and said they're looking into it, but they've also wanted to make a push for less pitchers on a roster in order to push teams to rely more on their starting pitching in a more strategic and sportsmanlike way. Basically, instead of incentivizing guys to go out there and put the pedal to the metal for 4 or 5 innings only to break down after a few years, they want more emphasis to be placed on strategy, pitch location, getting ground balls, and relying on your defense. Only problem is, the way the game is framed right now, that's not going to get a pitcher the biggest payday. On the other hand, you have the players union thinking the new pitch clock is to blame. The logic being that giving pitchers only 20 seconds between pitches is causing even more stress on the arm, which kind of makes sense. I mean, less rest between pitches can cause more stress on the arm, but after just 1 year of the rule change, I think it's a bit too early to tell. And in my opinion, there's other more pressing issues at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how the league handles this growing issue over the next few years. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell a pitcher don't throw so hard when they have millions of dollars riding on their ability to strike batters out. And the teams don't really have that much incentive, given the fact that there's so much young talent in the farm leagues that are waiting to come up and take someone's place as soon as they go down. But something definitely needs to change, and not just to bring balance back to the force of baseball, but just to keep these guys on the mound and off the operating table. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.